Welcome to the Books of the Month show. I am your host, Dr. Marilyn Todman, and today is going to be a very inspiring broadcast today by a very amazing woman. Help me welcome Maxine Allen Rifenburgh to the show today. You are such an amazing author. I want you to tell our audience about your book. You have a book titled Awakened by My Angels. And what a phenomenal book title. So I do have a question for you before we get started. You said angels. So do we have more than one angel?
Yes, we do. I've known since I was a little girl that I had angels around me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one poem in there that I speak about my Miriam, Abram, and Saul. And that just came to me one day after one of my crazy dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about that dream and these three people who were in it. And all of a sudden I just, the words went through my head, my spirit guides, one and all, Miriam, Abram, and Saul. And so I know, I have those three. They walk beside me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that my great grandmother and my grandmother are both around me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel them. So,
what is the significance with Miriam, Abram, and Saul?
I'm sorry.
What's the connection? The connection of the three angels.
I don't know. I don't know why I have that connection. I just know they're there, and I speak about it in the book a little bit. And I had verification because I'm just waking up, and it woke me up, and I literally had the voice in my ear say Miriam. And I went, oh, okay. So it gave me validation to the names that had already gone through my head and that came to that poem. I don't know why. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
I just know. And so I just got the chills.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Tell me about the poetry in your book.
The poetry really is words that flowed out of me. I never thought of myself as a poet. And then one day these words went through my head and I just had to write them down.
Amazing.
And that's how the poetry started.
And these are words that came from your angels. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. That's how I feel they came from. I mean, when I write poetry, and it still happens, I don't think about it. I could be out on a long drive somewhere and all of a sudden I got to write the words down. And if I don't write them down right away, they just flitter away. I couldn't repeat it again. So it's interesting how it works. And I do feel deeply that it is my angels getting me to write the words down. And that process was really what got a lot of the poison out of my system. I don't know, the bad feelings. It was really cathartic. I just said that wrong. But it really helped get the hurt, the anger, the I'm not worth out of my system. And that's really where, and it helped me forgive myself for getting into domestic violence. And it also helped me forgive my ex-husband.
Yes. So what we're really talking about in this broadcast today, those of you that are viewing, is that an experience that she went through, and many of us have went through, including myself, and that is a divorce, and that is going through domestic violence. And here you are today, the pain that you experienced, all that you went through, your angels are now delivering to you poetry to be able to inspire other women that may be going through the same thing. Tell us
Yes.
about maybe one of your favorite poems in your book.
She sits in wonder in the night, thankful that she has survived. That is probably the one that has the deepest meaning. And then the other one would be Safe in Angel's Wings. I've got my book next to me here. But thankful, you know, if you read through the whole thing, it really is. I can remember sitting downstairs in the middle of the night, you know, and just so thankful that it wasn't worse than it was. And I can actually say, you know, I was never hospitalized, but that kind of makes it seem like it wasn't bad. It's just because you're not hospitalized doesn't mean it's not bad. I mean, when somebody uses that type of verbiage at you that was, you know, spewed at me, and hits or picks you up and, you know, bodily shoves you against a wall, I don't want to minimize for anybody.
Right. That's a lot of pain and that's a lot of hurt. But there's one good thing that came out of it, and that is that your angels now have allowed you to be able to help other women that is experiencing the same thing. You know, like one of the poems you said, safe in the angel's arms. Is that correct?
Safe in angel's wings. I sleep at
safe
night.
in the angel's wings.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so amazing. So women out there, or if you are experiencing domestic violence, you definitely want to get a copy of this book and just read the poetry. And I know that it's going to be a blessing to you. It's going to inspire you. It's going to encourage you. And hopefully you don't have to go through as much as the author went through. So I know that it will be a great book for you. So tell me a little bit about how you are feeling to be able to be, I want to use the word chosen to be able to write such an inspirational book for women and men.
I'm humbled. How's that? It really humbles me that, because when I wrote the book, it was really, when I wrote the poetry, I was not thinking about putting it into a book. That, you know, all of a sudden I amassed this pile of poetry and there's more than what's in the book. And I thought one day, maybe if others read this, they would realize they weren't alone. And they'll realize that if they just reach out to somebody, you know, and leaving that situation, I don't care who you are, it's going to be messy, it's going to be sloppy. You know, your whole world implodes. It really does. And for me, I had to leave my children to get out. And then it took a year to go through the whole divorce and work to get my children back. And my biggest thing for me, and I think this is the other thing about it, especially for women who do have children, and for men who have children in that situation, is how we act as adults. We have the choice of making that leap, as painful as it's going to be, because it's going to be painful, to do something to stop it.
Right. Yes.
Because that's what the kids need more than anything.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes.
You know, and it's taken years for myself and the kids, you know, there's just the two of them, to really heal, you know. But I can sit here today, you know, now 18 years after I walked out the door and 17 years after the divorce, and my kids and I are fine. We're all very close, you know. So And I know that if I hadn't taken that leap,
Mm-hmm.
that we would have shattered one way or the other.
Wow.
And
So do you think it was your angels that encouraged you, that gave you the strength to be able to take that leap?
yes, yes. I don't speak about this in the book at all, but prior to me leaving, I had had a dream of my family in a car crash. And I can tell you, and we were on this road where the kids and I used to go to a lake where we would go swimming and stuff. And I remember getting up that morning and I said to my family, I had the weirdest dream last night. And we were in this car crash. And now when I look back at it, because it was one of those dreams that I've never forgotten, and that's when I know my angels are speaking to me. You know, it's not your ordinary dream, and it's so real. And at that point, I really didn't know, because I was in the throes of the domestic violence and trying to make sure I was keeping, you know, my husband happy so he didn't get angry. And so I really wasn't listening to what was going on. Does that make sense? I really had shut out everything other than just the four of us and trying to make sure we were together. And now that I look back, I mean, that was the message to me, that my family was going to die. And that's really what, even though we didn't die physically, my family died when I walked out that door.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
well, you are definitely a survivor. And your book is definitely going to encourage women and men around the world to listen to their angels, because we all have angels, and our angels will guide us and bring us to safety only if we will listen. We got about 1 minute remaining. If you had to wrap this up into 1 minute, what would you say to men and women in domestic violence and how this book can help them?
I would say don't be silent about it. And I know that's hard, because when you're not silent, it means that your person who's probably hurting you may hurt you more. But if you know somebody that you can go to, if you know somebody where you have a safe place or that they can help you, then go to them.
Yes.
Reach out your hand and go to them. Domestic violence, the silence is what perpetuates it. The victim being silent is what perpetuates it. When the victim finally says, no, I'm not going to be silent anymore.
Yes.
That's when, you know, you can really find your self-worth again, and walk through those doors that are in front of you, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well done. Very good. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate that. Your story, your poetry is so inspiring, and we thank you so much for coming on the show. And those of you that are tuning in, get the book. It may not have been you in that situation. Maybe you have a friend, a daughter, a sister, maybe a brother. Get the book today. I promise it's going to be a blessing to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.